So today we are going to discuss about the system development life cycle models and what are the alternative models for the same. Okay, let me allow to share the PPT, please. Yes. So the system development lifecycle model, what are the alternative models for information system development, like for example, prototype or RAD model. Earlier in last sessions, we have discussed a little bit about that. Today we will be discussing in detail. Then health records. I have already explained you about the security and privacy compliance. There is an authority that is called HIPAA. So we will be discussing about HIPAA in detail. So objectives of this session, objectives are by the end of this session, you will be able to understand about the system development lifecycle model. You can able to discuss the alternative models of the information system, and you will be explain. You can explain the healthcare records, including healthcare security privacy with reference to the HIPAA. So system development lifecycle models, there are various models. In last session, we have discussed a little bit about the waterfall and RAD model. However, many other models which are there. Okay, so like waterfall model is there, RAD model is there. Yes, RAD model is there, spiral model is there, V model is there, incremental models is there, agile model is there. Okay, so iterative models are there and Big Bang model. So there are various models. So we will be discussing one by one about these models and what are these models, what are their advantages, what are their disadvantages, what these models are, and what are benefits of these specific models. Being an administrator, when you will be administrator at hospital, when you are launching the MIS, you should know the various models so that you should know that which is the cost effective for your hospital and how we can save the money for by applying the other model. Okay. So system development life cycle model, whatever the model you are picking up, every model has the standard phenomena of planning, analyzing, designing, deploying, implementation, and maintain. Every model will follow the standardized pattern. Okay. To implement any model, you have to plan, you have to analyze, you have to design that model, you have to jot down that model, then you have to deploy that model, then you have to implement that model, and then you have to maintain. So this is the standard life cycle of any model. Okay. Only the difference is whatever we are going to discuss now, the differences will be like maybe the steps are parallel or maybe the steps should be follow one by one. So these are the small differences. Okay. So the system development lifecycle provides a well-structured framework that gives an idea of how to build a system. Okay, it consists of the steps: plan, analyze, design, development, implement, and maintain. Okay, so we are going to discuss the same. So planning, first stage is the planning. Whenever we are going to deploy any model, the planning stage layouts the groundwork. Okay, for the entire system development lifecycle. It involves the identifying the system's goals, that what are your goals, what is the goal and aims and objective of your hospital, defining the project scope, what is the scope of your project, setting up of the objectives, then you have to establish the timelines when you want your MIS to be ready. Okay, setting the timelines because model depend upon your timeline. Okay, if at all you have time, you can go with the step by step model, and if you have do not have time, you can cut short and you can apply with the small time frame models. And then determining the available resources, what all the resources are available with you. All models, application of the models into your current stream requires a lot of resources, right? So you have to see what are the available resources with you. Planning ensures that development across this process will organize and needs and set a clear direction for the subsequent stages. Okay, so you require the clear direction, clear planning, and uh, everything should be jotted down. Okay, So this is a planning phase. Next is analyzing. Now, analyzing stage, it is a stage which is focusing on the gathering and understanding the requirement of the system. Okay. Uh, this includes like you have to conduct the interviews with the stakeholders, you study the existing process, identify the needs of the patients, doctors, nurses, paramedical staffs, or those who are working on who are going to work on MIS. That is called stakeholders. You have to assess the needs. So the gathered information serves as the basis for design. Okay. And a system that meets users' expectations and addresses organizational challenges. Okay. So all these things will give you an idea that how to you're going to analyze. You have to analyze the situation. You have to analyze the current requirements. Then after that, you have to design the model accordingly. Okay, so system design is critical stage where the requirements which you have gathered during the analyze phase are actually translated into the technical plan that we have this many resources. So we have to, jot down accordingly. I think Simran, you have joined. Sukman, you have joined.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good
Sukman,
afternoon, ma'am.
yeah. Sukman, today is the last session. We are discussing about the whole process of system development life cycle. In the last session, we discussed about the one or two models, waterfall model and RAD model. Today, we are going to discuss all the models in details and what are the alternative models. Waterfall model, we have discussed that this is the basic model which we are using, but however, there are many other models which are available, and when you do not have time, when you do not have cost, you do not have financial resources, which model you can adopt quickly. Okay, so we'll be discussing about that. So quickly review the life cycle model. It requires planning, analyzing, designing, deploying, implementation, and maintain. Okay, so I am right now at the designing phase. So it involves the designing of the system. You have to take the feedback from your stakeholders. You have to assess the needs and then you have to design the technical plan. Okay, this design stage lays the foundation for subsequent development and implementation phase. The next stage is development phase. When you jot down the plan, technical plan is ready with you. So the development stage involves actual coding. Okay, coding and programming. Here the IT people will play an important role. Based on the design specification, developers, they usually write the codes, they create the databases, structures, and implement the necessary functionalities. So rigorous testing and quality assurance are performed to ensure the system accuracy. In this stage, when you're going to develop, you need to see whether the model which you are going to develop, it is as per the needs of the stakeholders, and you have to continuously test that model. You have to check the quality, you have to check the accuracy, you have to check the feasibility, you have to check the performance, and also you have to check whether it is adhering to the requirements or not. Okay, so this development phase is very crucial phase. Followed by development, now it's a time to implement. So this stage involved deploying the developed system into the production environment. Okay, it includes all the activities as we have already discussed, how we are implementing, we are installing data migration, training of the all users, specifically end users, and configuring the necessary infrastructure. Okay, very careful planning is required at this stage. And you need a lot of coordination between the departments and ensure that shifting from old database to this new database should be a smooth transition. Okay, and last stage is maintenance stage. Apart from your development and implementation, maintenance phase is a long run stage. It is an ongoing stage that involves monitoring, managing, and enhancing the system's performance functionality. Okay, sometimes bugging can happen, so you have to fix the bugs, you have to update the softwares. Security of is a major issue, so security patches, and also the address, you have to address the user's feedback. So regular maintenance is required for the smooth functioning of the hospital. The guidelines and procedure. What are the guidelines when you are setting up of any software for the or model for the development? A software application typically undergoes several development life cycles corresponding to its creation and subsequent upgrades. Each such development life cycle constitute a project. Okay. So before actual launching, you have to continuously upgrade as per the needs. Such projects continue until the underlying technology ages to point where it is no longer economical and invest in upgrades, and then application is considered either continued or is operational retirement. See, till when you will use the software, that you have to decide. Technology is changing daily. Okay, so today you are investing, let's suppose 2 crores of rupees in the MIS, and after 15 days or say, or after a month, the technology changed. Do you have the stamina to invest further 2 crores of rupees in the MIS? No, we do not have. No one has. So in this stage, you have to see that how we can upgrade. So always keep the doors open for the upgradations. Okay, these are the standard guidelines and standard procedures. Okay, and if after a certain period of time when you feel that these softwares are no longer usable for us, then you have to decide upon whether it is considered as you have to work on it or you have to just retire it. Okay, so these are the standard guidelines and procedures. So let's discuss about the models. First model is waterfall model. That model we have already discussed. Sukman, can you tell me what was that model? Sukmanpreet,
Yes, ma'am.
can you tell me what is this model? In
Yes,
last
ma'am.
session, we have discussed. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, waterfall model is a system of development model where we first plan, then design, and then build the model and then deploy the software. So first of all, we should plan it. And there are phases like requirement analysis, then there is system design, then there is coding or implementation, then we test it or verification is there, we test for bugs or performance issues or accuracy, and then we deploy it, install it in the ongoing system in the live environment for the use, and there is maintenance on upgradation and small improvements according to our needs is there.
What is the uniqueness of this model?
Ma'am, it's very simple and easy to understand, and in this model the requirements are well understood. Like we are clear what are our requirements, and then we implement it, and then we develop it so it's user friendly, and it's good for the heavy projects like government. If government wants to install any software like this, they should go for waterfall model. But
Very- Go ahead, go ahead.
But there are limitation in this model because we test it at the end when it is developed. So it's hard to fix from the foundation. If it has any issue that is it's in foundation only, it's very hard to fix it. And user feedback comes at very later stage. So if there is any dissatisfaction by the user, it will come early on and we can't fix it. We have to go again to the first or second level to fix it.
One more thing I just want to highlight why it is called waterfall. Why it is called waterfall? Any
When
idea?
when one step is done, then another step is done.
Correct, correct. You
Yes.
cannot go from requirement to the direct implementation. You have
Yes.
to go fulfill each step and then you have to move on to the next step. Very, very, very correctly said. Okay, so the advantages of this model is basically this is a base model, as you rightly said, that all SDLC models that came afterwards, after this, were created keeping in mind that that based on this shortcoming, they have developed their models. Okay, so in this model, we can move to the next step, next phase easily from the first when the first phase is successfully completed. That is how it is called a waterfall model. So no overlapping is there. Okay. And working software is not available for very long during this development life cycle. We cannot go back to the previous phase, as you rightly said, that feedback will be there at the end. Okay, it is difficult to change the requirement. So it's a sequential nature of this model is really a little bit, what we call it, not applicable to today's world, because today's world is totally changing. Next, tomorrow's technology is totally changing. What you have planned today may not be available tomorrow. So, realistically, to change this model, it is little bit, crucial. That is the thing. Now, next is V model. Now, this V model, what it is? It's same thing. It is the same how it is, how we are calling it as a waterfall model. The steps are basic steps are same. However, how this model works, first phase is requirement analysis. Okay, requirement, whatever you are taking the requirements, then accepting the testing, then you are designing, then parallelly you have to do the designing. Here you are doing architect designs, I mean you are developing it. Here parallelly you are doing integration testing. Okay, for the designing you are integrating the testing. Then you are developing the final software or module. Then you are doing the unit wide testing, and then you are doing the coding. Means parallel you are doing the things. Okay. Once you are requiring the when you have once you have the requirements with you, you are checking the acceptance for the testing that yes, we can do this. Then next step is system design. Okay, both ways you are designing, and then parallelly you are testing the system also. Then you are when you are designing the architect, parallelly you are testing the integration of that architect towards the system. Then parallelly, when you're preparing the module, you are testing its unit. So means you're designing, parallelly you are testing. You are designing, parallelly you are testing. So that is how it is called a V model. Just look at the shape, it is called a V model. Ultimately, all both the things end up to the final codings. Okay. So that is how we are calling it a V model. Okay. It is also called verification and validation model. Means the things which you have done, parallelly you are validating it. Parallelly you are testing it. Okay. It is based on the association of testing phase with each development phase. Parallelly development is going on and parallelly you are testing it. Okay. So it is based on the with each development phase and parallelly you are testing. Okay. Its testing phase is also associated in the V shape. In other words, both software development and testing activities are going parallelly. Okay. In V design, the left side represents the development activity and the right side is representing the testing activity. Did you get it, Sukhman? Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Left side, this is all designing phase, this is all testing phase, right? So planning, testing, and designing test can be done even before coding. That means you before actual launch of the coding, you can test that whether our software will be really workable or not. Okay, this is very disciplined model in which phase by phase development and testing going on. Defects are detecting in the initial stage itself, and small and medium scale developments can be easily, completed using it. Okay, what are the disadvantages of this model? This model is not suitable for very complex project because if you are having one thing, you can design and one thing you can parallelly test it. If you are having multiple things to, design, then it is very, very difficult to test parallelly. Why? You can test it. But again, any one thing out of that is not workable. You have to stop, hold everything in the development phase until the all phases are not testing, testing is not completed. So this is not suitable for the complex project. There remains both high risk and uncertainty. Okay, because risk is available at the both ends. It's not suitable model for ongoing project. If you want to change your ongoing project, you cannot change into V model because it start from scratch. And model is not at all suitable for a project which is unclear and in which there are changes in the requirement. Because sometimes what happens, while development phase only, we are meeting with the goals and objectives of our hospital. We are preparing the model, and in between, we are thinking, no, 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 we should not make this model like in this way. We have to change it. But in V model, you cannot change it because if you could see that everything is parallelly designed and parallelly tested. So if you think of the change, you cannot change because one thing you will change, it will going to impact all other things. Okay. So this is not a suitable model for the working projects. Next is incremental model. Now, what is incremental model? Incremental model is a model where you are doing the things parallelly, testing it. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So you are dividing the things. Like you are having one requirement, certain things you give it to bin, certain things you divide into three or four or five different sections. Okay, and parallelly incrementally you build this model. Okay, like you are having suppose 10 steps to develop a software. So what you will do, 5 steps you will do now, let's finish it. Another 2 steps you do now and then finish it. Another 3 steps you again do and finish it, or you can do it parallelly also. Okay, it's slowly, incrementally you are doing. But the basic process is same. You have to design, deploy, test, and implement. Okay, these are the standard phenomena. So incremental model, the software development process is divided into several increments and the same phases are followed in each increment. Okay. In simple language, under this model, a complex project is developed in many modules or bits and bits. Okay. Suppose you want to build the model in small sections, you can use this kind of model. So V model was not good for complex kind of project. This model is very well suitable for the complex kind of project. Suppose you are having three parallel phases. So you can design this model in a parallelly, you can work on it. Okay. Then you can add the modules also. So one portion is not going to impact the other. Whereas in V model, if you want to do some changes, suppose here in architect design, you want to do some changes. Ultimately, it will going to impact system design, system testing, requirement analysis, and acceptance testing. So it will going to impact. But in incremental model, as it is divided into stages, okay, changes in the one stage will not going to impact the other stage or third stage. Okay. So this is the unique function of this model. So models are added to the software in each increment until the complete system is created. However, the requirement for making a complex project in multiple iteration parts should be clear that what you are going to make. Okay. Advantages is the functions are developed first and then the rest are added the chance. Okay, you have to be very clear that what modules you want going to make. Then only you have to start with the project making. This model is very flexible and less expensive to change the requirement scope. Means whenever you are having prediction that something is going to change in between, use this model because one change or one alteration will not going to impact the other change. And the customer can respond to each module and provide feedback in if any changes are needed. Project progress can be measured. At any point of time, you can measure. Easier to test and debug during the short iterations, and errors are easily identifiable because we can easily identify where the error is, where the changes are happened. Disadvantages of this model. Management is a continuous activity that must be handled because we are working on a parallel modes. Okay. So you have to be really very vigilant while managing this kind of projects. Before the project can be dismantled and built incrementally, the complete requirement of the software should be clear. Okay, you should know how many divisions you have to make. It should be very clear. This requires good planning and designing, and the total cost of this model is very high because obviously, suppose you are using 1 lakh rupees on one particular uh, this stream. Okay, suppose you are utilizing 1 lakh rupees on this build one. Parallelly, you have to do, you utilize the same amount of money here, same amount of money here, and so on, as many as divisions you are having. Whereas in other models, money will be utilized at one point of time. Okay, so these are the next is a RAD model. Do you have any idea? That day we discussed about the RAD model, Sukman? Sukman, RAD model, I want to know.
Yes, ma'am. My mouse
Any
is not
idea?
working. So I have delayed response. My mouse was not working.
Pardon?
Ma'am, my mouse is not working. That's why I delayed response of your answers.
No problem. So, do you have any RAD idea about the RAD model?
Yes, ma'am. RAD that day we talked about was a rapid model. These earlier models were slow, and it was a rapid model in which there were small working prototypes we use, and we keep on improving them continuously upon the inputs.
Correct.
And ma'am, there will be a quick discussion with the stakeholders and the developers. Continuous meetings will be held so that we can quickly develop it and deploy it. So uh, it's very new type of MIS rather than these all previous were the old type. And if
I'm
we
very,
have a tight deadline, we can go
yes,
for this.
I'm very happy that you are remembering the things. Really appreciable. Good. So this is a rapid model, as you said very correctly. Um, uh, this model is utilized when you do not have time and you have to build the quick things, right? So RAD model stands for the Rapid Application Development Model. The methodology of the RAD model is similar to that of the incremental or waterfall model. It is used for small projects. If the project is large, then it is divided into many small projects, and these small projects are planned one by one. See, RAD model is what? It's a kind of a small model. Okay, so it depends upon you that whether you want to apply a full model or you want to apply in bits. In bits, you can suppose your project. Suppose your hospital is having a financial crunch. They cannot invest crores of rupees at one point of time. So what you can do, you can build a one unit MIS, like for example, financial MIS you built under RAD model. Then similar kind of thing, after 2 months you build for the imaging. Okay, like that. So these kind of small sections you can make under RAD model. Like a typical example, if I'll give you, like in a hospital, you want to develop the MIS, but the cost is going up to crore. So what you think that no, at this point of time, we do not have that much investment. What should we do? So what you will do, you will design it. You will design the whole model. You will design your MIS. Out of that, you will pick one module. Let's say as of now, we will start with the finance module at least. So that finance module you pick and put it under RAD model and start. So as of now, your finance model will be workable. Then after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you will say, okay, now we have certain investment. We will go up with the like a patient ward management. Then same RAD model you pick and develop the ward management and you sync with them. Okay. So this is the kind of model जैसे कहते हैं ना छोटा छोटा एक कमरा बना के पूरा घर खड़ा करना धीरे धीरे धीरे. That is a RAD, right? Okay. So if the project is large, then it has to divide it into small projects. And these small projects are planned one by one and then completed. In this way, by completing the small project, the full large project can be developed quickly. So in RAD model, the project is completed within a given time and all the requirements are collected before starting the project. It is very fast and there are very less errors in it because you are making the small sections. So error chances are less in that. Okay. So advantages, it reduces the time taken in the development. Its name itself is telling it's a rapid model. In this, the components are reused. One, a small project if you have made, then the small bits of that can be used into the other model also. Okay. It is very, very flexible and easy to make any changes at any one point of time because you are making differently, making it into the module wise. So you can easy to track the changes and easy to make the changes. Then it is easy to transfer like scripts because high level abstractions and intermediate codes are used in it. Very, very, there are very few defects in it because it is a prototype by nature. It is like rather than making a full MIS, we are making one module MIS. Okay. So very rare defects are there. And in this, the productivity can be increased in less time and less people. Very, very cost effective it is. And it is suitable for the small projects. Basically, large projects also we can make, but again, then we have to make small bits and then together we have to make the large project. Disadvantages, of course, it is having the disadvantages. In this, we need highly skilled developers and designers because we have to amalgamate at the end of the full completion of the project. Very, very difficult to manage because you have made a lot of modules. So maintenance is also will be module wise. It is not suitable for the project that are complex and takes too long time. Okay. In this, the feedback from the client is required for the development of each piece. Automated code generation is very, very expensive. And this model is suitable for the components based on the scalable system. Okay, so there are disadvantages of this kind of models. Next is iterative model. Iterative model, have you heard this kind of model, Sukman? Any idea? Any rough idea?
Can you repeat? Yes, miss.
From the figure, can you uh, jot down what this model will be? Iteration model. Just read it for 2 minutes.
Mom, I think this model is like we first develop it, then test it, then review it, and this keeps on going in repeated cycles until we are fully satisfied.
Perfect. Correct. So this is how we are doing. We suppose this is the first iteration. Iteration means first development. You did the requirement analysis, designing, testing, implementation, and then you reviewed. After review, you think no, there are some changes to be required. Again, redesign it. Don't start from the requirement. Requirements are already there with you. You are analyzing it. Then go with the second phase. Second iteration will be you start from the designing, testing, implementation, review. Again, after review, change the design, test it, implementation, again review, then deploy and maintenance. So iteration means that we start developing the software with some requirements. Okay. And when it is developed, it is reviewed. If there are requirements for the changes in it, then we develop a new version of the software based on those requirements. This process repeats itself until we get the final product. Okay. So in iteration model, a software is developed by following several iterations. Means continuously you have to do until you will get the final output. Iteration means that we repeating the development process again and again. Okay. So advantages of these models are bugs and errors can be easily identified because you are doing repetition. You are quickly, repeatedly checking it. Under this model, software is prepared quickly with some specification. Means if you want to change the software specification, you can change it because anyhow you are going to do it again. Okay. So this is the advantage. And testing and debugging of the software become easier during each iteration because you will come across the problems immediately when you're reviewing it. You will come across a problem. You know where the bugs are. You know where the problems are. So what you will do? In the next step, next phase of iteration, you can debug it, you can test it, and you can change it. We get the reliable feedback from the users along with the blueprint. This model is easily adaptable to constantly changing. Okay. During the software development process, additional time. Now, time is the biggest constraint here. Additional time is devoted to the development and limited time for the documentation. Okay. Risks are identified and resolved during the iteration only. What could be the biggest disadvantage? I think this will be the very costly model. Okay. This is not suitable for the small projects. For small project, we can use RAD models. Since we have to repeat the iterations many times. Okay. Can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
1 second. Some problem is that. 1 second. Let me start. Yes. Since we have to repeat the iteration many times, the software development process due to which we require more resources. We need more resources. We have to test, we have to retest, we have to redesign, and requirements are constantly changing. We have to make frequent changes in the software. Due to constantly changing requirement, the budget of the project is increased. I have already told you this will be very, very costly because you have to do everything again and again. In this model, it is complicated to control the entire process of the software development. We cannot control, we have to do again. It is very difficult to tell by what date the complete software will be ready because this kind of software you will not approve until you are not fully satisfied. So these are the biggest disadvantage of the model. Okay. Next, we are talking about the spiral model. The spiral model is, just look at the diagram quickly. Determine the objectives and alternative solutions, identifying and resolving the risk. Okay. Then review and plan the next phase, develop and test. Let me explain this thing to you. This model has the characteristics of both iterative and waterfall model. You are going in a sequence also, and you are going in an iteration also. Suppose you think that this phase is okay, then you do this phase, do this phase, do this phase, and from here again you can do this phase. Okay. So this model is used in the project where a large and complex model, complex kind of projects are there. It is named as a spiral because if we look at the figure, it looks like a spiral in which a long curved line starts from the center point and make many loops. Means again, you have to use this whole process again and again and again and again until you will not going to get the satisfied results. Okay. Number of loops in the spiral is not decided in advance. Yes. How many loops you will get that you don't know. You don't know how many times you have to repeat it. Okay. Same like iteration phase. Okay. We also call each loop of a spiral is a phase of the software development process. Okay. So this is a spiral model. But base contents are same. Advantage is if we have to add additional functionality or make any changes to the software, then through this model, we can do so in later stage also. This is a function of this kind of model. Spiral model is very, very suitable for the large and complex projects. It's easy to estimate how much the project will cost. Hmm? Very, very easy. Risk analysis is done in each phase of this model. We can analyze the risk at each phase, and customer can see the look of this software only in the early stage of the development process. I mean, they can see this model, but how this model will go, how many spirals will come, that we do not. Since continuous feedback is taken from the customer during the development process, the chances of the satisfaction will increase because we are going to take the feedback. No, so customer will be more satisfied. But cost of this kind of model we cannot expect because we similarly like iteration model, we do not know how many iterations we have to do in this. Disadvantage, this is the most complex model of system development cycle due to which it is quite difficult to manage. Rarely actually people use this kind of model. This is not suitable for small projects. The cost of model is quite high, very, very high. It requires more documentation than the other models. Experienced experts are required to evaluate and review the project from time to time. Using this model, success of the project depends greatly on the risk analysis phase. How much analysis you will do, how many changes you are doing, and then accordingly you have to do. Next is prototype model. What is prototype, Sukman? What do you mean by prototype? Any idea?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, prototype means that early working model or sample or any test ideas we use.
Miniature,
Yes.
miniature kind of thing. Yes. See, that is the if you think that on which kind of model I should work, I will opt prototype model. The prototype model is a small miniature kind of actual thing where you do not want to invest fully on MIS, but you want to see, let's see how it will look like. That is called a prototype model. Okay. Quick design. Okay. You build a prototype, evaluate, and then refine the prototype. Okay. It's a model is an activity in which prototypes of the software applications are created. First, a prototype is created and then the final product is manufactured. One problem in this model is that if the end user are not satisfied with this prototype model, then a new prototype is created again, due to which this model consumes a lot of money and time. Now, prototype is a small miniature. You have to develop you what you can do, you can use a RAD model and develop one prototype. After that, you go to the feedback. But you if you will say yes, feedback is not positive, then your whole prototype will be waste. Okay. But it is very, very good if the feedback is correct because it will use less money in that case. Advantage is it is a prototype model is suggested to create applications whose prototype is very easy and which always includes human machine interaction with them. Okay. When we know that the general objective of creating this software, we know about that why we are creating, but we do not know anything in detail that what kind of input, throughput, output will be there or what kind of things or challenges we will face. In this situation, you better go with the prototype model. Okay, when we do not know how it will going to work. When a software developer is not very sure about the capability of the algorithm, what they are using to develop the software or its adaptability to an operating system, then in this situation, using a prototype model can be a better option, always. Okay, disadvantages. When the first version of the prototype model is ready, the customer himself often wants to small fix and changes rather than rebuilding the system. Okay. Every management will say that use less money. So what they will do, they will say you build a prototype, we will fix the bugs and then we will rebuild the system. Whereas if the system is redesigned, then more quality will be maintained. Okay, if you will change the prototype, just change the prototype and then you fix the bugs. Okay, it will work. But instead, if you're changing the whole system and then you are building, definitely it will give a better quality. So that is a disadvantage in the prototype. Many compromises can be seen in the first version of the prototype model because you are making quick model. So you may compromise something. Sometimes a software developer may compromise in his implementation just to get the prototype model, like they want to run quickly. So small things sometimes they ignore. Okay, which may later create a problems. So that is the biggest disadvantage in the prototype model. Okay, next is agile model. Agile model. Okay, so what is this model? Again, the process is same. Okay, what is this requirements? Develop, test, deploy, review, design. Hmm? Agile model is a combination of iterative and incremental model. That is, it is made up of iterative. In this, a focus is given to the process adaptability and customer satisfaction. Review, again design, develop, deploy, review. Again design, develop, test, deploy, review. Like that. Until you will not satisfy the customer. In earlier times, iterative waterfall model was used to create the softwares. Okay. But in today's time, developer face many problems. The biggest problem is like in the middle of the software development, okay, management will say, no, you do like this. Or based on the customer requirement, they will make the changes. That is very, very difficult for the software people because once they have developed the algorithm and coding, it is difficult for them to change. And it, of course, it is associated with the cost. So it takes a lot of time and money to make these changes. Okay. So advantages in these two programmers work together due to which the code is error free and there are very few mistakes. In this, the software project is completed in very short time and customer representative has an idea of each iteration so that they can change easily because they are reviewing every time. This is very realistic approach to the software development. Focus is given on the teamwork because two programmers are working on it. And there are very few rules in this and documentation is also very, very negligible. There is no need for planning, huge planning in this kind of model and which can be managed easily and very, very flexible for the developers. But the disadvantage is as it is, it cannot handle complex dependencies. Like my review is depending on patient also, doctors also, nurses also, paramedical staff also, financiers also, stakeholders also. Very, very difficult to satisfy everyone. So it cannot handle complex dependencies. Due to the lack of the formal documentation in this, there is a confusion in the development because there is rare documentation in this. It mostly depend upon the customer representative. If the customer representative give any wrong information, then software can be wrong because it is depending on the review. Only experienced programmers can take any decision in this. New programmers cannot take decisions in this because old programmers they know that yes, this kind of feedback is not correct. Okay. So in the beginning of the software development, it's not known how much effort and time will be required to create this kind of. See, whenever we are taking reviews and feedbacks, the, the time and the money, how much it will require to develop the software is unpredictable because it is depending on the customer's reviews. So all these kind of models are unpredictable. Okay. So these are the various models which are there. Basically, it is a waterfall model, but there are many alternative models. But every model has their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, we'll take a short break. Then we will come down to the HIPAA rules after that. Okay, Sukman.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll start again. Are you there, Sukman?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So next, last topic is healthcare records. Now, assume your MIS is developed. Okay. So what about the healthcare records, which includes data security, privacy, and specifically in context with HIPAA? Okay. Now the major role lies on your shoulder. So what is HIPAA? HIPAA is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Basically started in US legislation that provides data privacy and security provisions for safeguarding the medical information. See, medical information, it is a crucial component. It is very, very confidential. You need not, you cannot, um, breach that confidentiality. But one when you're launching the MIS, that information is into the open forum, okay, which can be easily breached. So the law has emerged into the greater prominence in recent years, with many health data breaches caused by cyber attacks and ransomware attacks on health insurance or providers. So what was the purpose of this law? Just read it, then I will tell you in detail. HIPAA, also known as a Public Law 104191, and has two main purposes. First is to provide continuous health insurance coverage for workers who lost or change their jobs, and to ultimately reduce the cost of the healthcare by standardizing the electronic transmission of administrative and financial transactions. Okay, so it is basically ensuring your health. Then other goal includes combating abuse, fraud, and waste in the health insurance and healthcare delivery, and improving the access to long-term care services and health insurance. Okay. So any kind of the fraud or any kind of the mishandling of the data particular to the patient, which when we are claiming our insurances, that is the area where HIPAA plays an important role. So what are the five main components of HIPAA? First is HIPAA health insurance reform. So this protect health insurance coverage for individuals who lost or changed jobs. Okay. It also prohibit group health plans from denying coverage to individual with specific diseases and pre-existing conditions, and from setting the lifetime coverage limits. Okay, these all are insurance kind of data. When it when one person is changing the job from one place to another place, so the insurance doesn't in India, actually, we are not insured. We are obtaining the insurance from our own end, but in foreign countries, the insurance is covered by the NHS. Specifically in UK, it is covered by the NHS. So when the person is changing or losing the job, the insurance will be covered. Okay. Second rule is administrative simplification. It directs the US Department of Health and Human Services to establish national standards for processing electronic health record transactions. Electronic health record transactions are very, very important. Okay. It requires healthcare organizations to implement, secure electronic access to the health data and to remain in compliance with privacy regulation. Now, for example, just take an example. A patient who claims the insurance of, let's say, 10 lakh rupees in Indian settings. Okay. Suddenly, if I, being a fraud person, what I will do, I will change the records, and now the person has to claim the insurance by showing those records, but the records are not available. What you will do? Okay. So that is how the administration plays a role. So this HIPAA rule protect that. Then HIPAA tax related health provisions. It includes all tax related provisions and guidelines for medical care, and application and enforcement of group health plan requirements. When we are taking the group health, okay, so HIPAA insurance reform, it also includes the provision of individual with pre-existing conditions and those seeking continuous coverage. So all these data are also covered under the HIPAA plans. And revenue offsets, it includes provision on companies owned life insurance and the treatment of those who lost the citizenship. Suppose today I'm the citizen of one country, and today I'm following the rules of HIPAA of that country. and tomorrow I'm shifting to some other country, whether those rules will follow me or not, for the specifically for income tax purpose. So HIPAA has those proper guidelines. Okay. Now, Title 2, it includes following HIPAA compliance requirement. First is National Provider Identified Standards. So what they have done, each healthcare entity, including individual or employer health plan, so they have given one unique number, okay, 10-digit national provider identifying number. Like here in India, we are having 16-digit Aadhaar card number. Same way, they are having 10-digit national provider identifying number, where the person's identity particular to the insurance can be identified. Next is transactions and code set standards. Healthcare organizations must follow a standardized mechanism for electronic data interchange in order to, submit the insurance claim. So they are having a standard codes. In US, they are having the standard codes. So they will use that codes only to submit the insurance claims. Then privacy rules, officially known as the standards for privacy of individual identifiable health information. This rule established national standards to protect the patient information. My information should be confidential, should not go to some other. Whereas when you are having electronic health records, the information will go to many ends. So HIPAA has made a strict rule that the information should not be disseminated. Security standards are so powerful by HIPAA, you know, so patient data is absolutely secured and every hospital has to follow HIPAA rules. Okay. And enforcement rule is that this rule established guidelines for investigation into HIPAA compliance violations. Now, HIPAA compliance violation means if you violate the rules of HIPAA, what will happen? First, you should know what information is protected under HIPAA. Then I will let you know what will happen if you failed to follow the HIPAA rules. So first is what information is protected under HIPAA. Uh, a rule to limit the use and disclosure of sensitive information, patient health information, sensitive patient health information. So for example, medical legal cases. Now, in medical legal cases, if we are having the files we're keeping in the custody, but what if it is open in the electronic format? So it seeks to protect the privacy of the patient by requiring doctors to provide patient with an account of each entity to which the doctor discloses patient health information for billing and administrative purpose only, while still allowing the relevant health information to flow through the proper channel. Suppose if a patient is having HIV positive, and billing section need not to know that whether the patient is having HIV positive or not, or a patient is a mentally unstable. Billing department doesn't require any information that whether the patient is mentally unstable or not. They needs bills. So why you are providing the information of HIV positive patient or any sensitive cases to billing department? Here the doctor plays a role. If you are disclosing the information to the non-utilized person, I mean those who don't want that information, you will be under HIPAA radar. Understand? Understand, Sukman? Are you understanding this?
Yes, ma'am.
It is not so patient health information includes but not limited to the following, like patient's name, address, birth date, social security number, biometrics identifiers, or personally identifiable information. Then patient's past history, present history, future history. Okay. Then physical health condition or mental health condition specifically. Any care provided to an individual and information which is concerning to the past, present, future payments. Okay. I don't want to give my payment history to any person. So these, but you should have a reasonable, justifiable reason to disclose the patient information. Okay. Patient health information does record. So if being a patient, if someone is asking me where you are employed, doesn't make any sense. That is none of your business where I'm employed. Employment records are not patient health information. Okay. Including information about education as well. Sometimes for research purpose or for health purpose, we are asking what is your education? Not required for the health at all. Okay, as well as the record subject to defined in the family education rights and privacy. Okay, So, de-identified data, meaning the data that does not identify or provide information that could identify the individual, means de-identified data means any information which is not directly related to the patient, but some or other way from this data we can identify that this is that patient only. This kind of information should not be shared. Patient health, this is not the part of patient health information. Okay. HIPAA privacy rules and penalties. Before sharing this, let me show you one video. Okay, just have a look at that video. I'm sharing the link also in the chat box because sometimes the voice is not there, so you can parallelly check that. Okay. I've shared the link of this video. Okay, you can parallelly check by the time I'm sharing this video to you. So, Supan, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So just see if you are not giving training to your employees regarding the MIS or related to the HIPAA security rules, that means you are violating the HIPAA rules. Okay. So even if you have given the training, you have to document it. Read this, just listen to this video or read the content of this video. Huh? If you're leaving your PC unattended by opening your MIS or in health information record, if you're making it like you kept like that and you went off from your seat. That is also one of the violation of HIPAA. Okay. Now you are using or you are hiring the people for the software development. Of course, they are having the access to your information. Okay, so they are the third party vendors, those who are having the access of patient information. So you need to be having a one agreement between that party not to share that information. Okay, that is what they're telling about. So just see, even they have mentioned to dispose of the patient's documents. They have given the example that one medical research institution, what they have done, they have disposed of the patient's records in their parking lot. So that is also the HIPAA violation. So similarly, when you're working on an electronic system, how to dispose of the patient's records, how to delete the patient records, which are not required or which are not used, it should be in a proper way. Otherwise, it's a violation. Now, next, I will want to show you one video on HIPAA penalty. Okay, 1 second. I'm pasting the link in this chat box. You can copy it, please. See, what they are telling that you can ask a copy of the patient rights from the hospital, but in Indian setting, no one has knowledge only that they can ask from the doctors that what are the patient rights and policies. So that is one of the HIPAA rule. So, just now we have read about the penalties. So, in short, if I would like to say about the penalties, that HIPAA privacy rule penalties, it ranged from uh, $100 to lakhs of, I mean, millions of dollars. The privacy rules penalties vary depending on the severity of the infraction. They also split into four categories. First is unknowingly violation. When you do not know that you are really violating, you are ignorant, or maybe because of the lack of the training. So HIPAA violation, it may range from $100 for violation with annual maximum of $25,000, right? Then second is the reasonable cause. When you have a reason, then at that time HIPAA violation may range from $1,000 up to the 1 lakh dollars. Then willful neglect of the HIPAA. Matlab purposefully you have done that, but the violation is corrected with the given time period. Means you have done the violation, but violation can be corrected at least. So in that case, the fine will be at least $10,000 to 25,000. Sorry, 2,50,000. Okay. And willful neglect act when the violation remains uncorrected, which cannot be corrected at all. The violation is, and that the penalty is huge. Huge means huge. Okay, then it goes up to millions of dollars. So HIPAA privacy rule penalties are huge. So there is a need for compliance. Ensure that the security and availability of patient health information is to maintain the trust of the practitioners and patients. Just simple thing what they said, that if you are leaving your computer without information, without using, you are just leaving the computer like that, and this PC is having patient data, that is also HIPAA violation. Meet the HIPAA and high-tech regulations to access, audit, and integrity controls, data transmissions, and device security. Maintain greater visibility and control of sensitive information throughout the organization. So there is a need for compliance. Let me show you one last video about how the employees can maintain that. Just give me 1 minute. So I'm pasting the link. So employees has to be very, very, conscious about these kind of violations. So what is the protected information? In short, it's a personal detail, name, address, date of birth, phone number, photos, full medical history, weight, BMI, allergies, past surgeries, billing information, medical claims, prescription details, treatment plans, and discharge notes. Okay, these are the protected information. So most common HIPAA violations are, in short, the videos which we have seen, no proper HIPAA training to the employees, using digital technologies that are unsecured and vulnerable to breaches like hacking and malware, exposing medical information by leaving computers unlocked or using paper instead of electronic files, improperly disposing of protected health information like not shredding or wiping the hard drives, then releasing the medical information to the wrong people without patient consent, disclosing the wrong patient information, usually done in error, and disclosing the patient information in private conversation with family, friends, and co-workers. Okay, so these are the violations. Ways to ensure the HIPAA compliance in a workplace: having a dedicated HIPAA security officer, updating the passwords every 90 days, minimizing the use of paper records, regular shredding of the sensitive paperwork, encrypting emails and using spam filters, investing in reputable software security measures like antivirus and anti-malware programs, locking all the computers that are not in use, verifying the patient's identity before giving out any information, and protecting the organization from theft by installing an alarm system, cameras, and limiting employee access to keys and confidential information. So these are the ways where you can prevent the HIPAA violations. So that's all about the system development life cycles. Okay. I hope we have covered the content successfully. And if you are having any problems, you can mail us. Okay, if you now the syllabus is complete, you please read the content. Even you can use the other measures in YouTube. You go to the HIPAA, you will get a lot of informations. Okay, so that's all from my side, Sukman. I think you are the only candidate who was available to me all the time. So if you have any query, you can ask me.
Ma'am, I have a query. Then I was attempting IA. There was a question, IA1. There was a question, what is a key operational challenge in managing a hospital information system? So there were four options. There was data security, user training, system integration, and scalability. So I selected system integration as a key operational challenge. But ma'am, a correct answer came as user training. So I was confused in both.
Read the sentence.
Key
Operational challenge.
operational.
Operational.
Operation.
When you want to successfully operate it, what is the challenge? See, user data security is a technical challenge.
Yes, ma'am.
Operational challenge. It was training.
Training.
Even while discussing that session, I emphasized upon that particular thing. I think you answered that.
Yes, ma'am. But while I was attempting, I thought that system integration, uploading the file was as a
These are
key operational challenge
no, these are
first.
technical challenge.
Yes,
Operational challenge is the biggest challenge is the user training, because people they are not ready to get acquainted themselves for this kind of technologies. That
right.
was operational challenge.
I got this one wrong,
No
so
problem,
I
no
thought
problem, no problem, no problem.
yes, ma'am, that was my doubt.
Okay, so all the best. Okay, and
Thank you
I
so
think
much, ma'am.
yeah, if you have any query, suppose if in future also if you have any query, you mail us, no problem, we will respond.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, take care. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Take care.
Take care.